Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Lavish Raheja. I am an Android developer working at Wipro, and we have Raj Arora live with us, and we are going to talk about interviews, career. Either you are a fresher or you are a professional, experienced guy. So this live session is presented by Hexa, and we have Raj Arora with us. Raj, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you, Lavish? How are you doing?
Great, great, awesome. So can you just quickly introduce yourself?
So, guys, my name is Raj. I work with Leisure as a DevOps engineer. I'm a food lifestyle blogger and I'm trying to get into tech blogging. And this is our first video brought to you by Hexa.
Great, great. Okay. So, like Raj, when I was preparing for this video session, so I was thinking, I was asking to myself, like, I'll not be nervous, I'll be confident, right? So, like, I think this is the same situation when we prepare for the interviews also. Like, if I'm one day before I'm preparing for the interview or I'm sitting in front of an interview, like we think, right? So, I'll be confident, I'll not be nervous, I'll give my best. So, what do you think about this?
I think that's the human nature. Doesn't matter if you're Queen of the England or the President of the United States. Um, you're gonna get nervous. You're gonna get some anxiety when you're gonna go talk to a stranger one to one, and specifically when it's gonna be a take on your job. So that's the nature of human life.
Great. Great. Okay. So I have prepared a bunch of questions for you. So shall we start?
Yeah, yeah. We can start. We can fire your questions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So tell me about your recent interview experience, how last companies you applied for, and if you get some offer letters, what are your recent interview experiences?
So I was working for a media company earlier, and as we all know, because of COVID-19, things are going wrong, and media is one of the worst hit section of the industry. I did not want to be a part of sinking ship, and I gave many interviews in last 3 to 4 months. Be it the big giants like Deloitte and Mindtree, or the mid-scale companies like Cloud4C, and startups like Licious, where I'm working currently, or Coos, that's a fashion startup. I had a very diverse experience giving interviews to very different kind of interviewers from different nationalities, different technologies, companies, landscapes, and their understanding of DevOps as an technology as an whole. Uh, to put everything in a nutshell, it was a great learning experience. Every day I gave an interview, I learned something, I improved myself, I got to know some or other questions about the field I have been working since last 5 years that I still don't know. And I focused on that. And today I'm sitting here in front of you working with Licious.
Okay. As you know, like we are going to talk about interviews, career, right? So basically interviews. So I have divided this session into three parts. So first part is when we apply for the interviews. Next is when we get shortlisted, and third part is when we are giving the interview. Offer letters are
Sure.
different. We'll talk about that also.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
first is like when we apply for the interview. So I'll tell you one story. So my flat owner called me one day. So he told his nephew has done computer masters in computer science and he is looking for a job. Can you guide him? Okay, yeah, I told him I'll guide him. So he called me. He sent me his resume also. It was good. So I told him like how you are applying for the interview. So he doesn't know anything about that. So I told him like you are applying on Naukri.com and in LinkedIn.com, anything where you're applying. So he was blank. He did not know anything. So I thought like there are many individuals who don't know anything about how to apply for an interview. They just complete their Naukri profile. Even some don't know about that also. So I think this is a major problem, and we can cover. I think in this video we can cover that also, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure. It happens with many people, not only with freshers. You will see this tendency of not knowing how to present yourself to an HR or an interviewer is there with the experienced people also who have 5, 10, 12 years of experience. It's with them also.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a bunch of platforms available like LinkedIn, AngelList, Hirist, right? InstaHire. So Can you tell me priority wise from top to bottom, what is the preferred platform you go for to apply for the company's jobs? Some two,
Look,
three names.
yeah, look, all these platforms that you have mentioned, Angel Hire, Insta Hire, Hirest, even Glassdoor is also giving job opportunities these days. Out of
Yeah.
all these, I think LinkedIn is something that helps you finding a job most, because you do not only connect to HRs and interviewers, you also connect to many peers into your industry, many alumni of your college or alumni of your previous companies who can help you to get a reference into the organization that you are aiming for and can get your interview scheduled for you. As well as, if you see the trend, most of the big giant companies as well as the newborn startups, they would go to LinkedIn to see a person's profile. So they may not believe on resume entirely. They are going to see how the person have, which articles the person have shared, how unique is the person's profile, what all he have done, what are his viewpoints and all. Because uh, this is the time of the century when people are not looking for robots, but the actual dynamics of a personality to work for them. So I would say LinkedIn first, Naukri second,
Yeah.
and all other platforms on third shelf.
Okay. I'll tell you about my viewpoint also. So if I am, yeah, what you said, like if I'm looking for a referral or some good company, I go for LinkedIn. Otherwise, I have a Naukri profile complete also. So otherwise, if I'm serving a notice period, so Naukri is the platform. I think we get more calls because it's written in the profile like we have 15 days left of the notice period. And if I'm talking about if someone is looking for small startups or growing startups, I prefer AngelList for that. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you like how I apply on the LinkedIn also. I have done some research on the LinkedIn. So how I apply. So when we apply for the interviews on LinkedIn, right, we see like 200 applicants, 500 applicants, right? We see on the LinkedIn job post,
Mhm.
like on Google, Amazon, or any big company, we see a bunch of applicants there, right? So what like there are very less chances like we get shortlisted on that, right?
Mhm.
So what I do, I turn on the alerts. There is an option to turn on the alerts, and there is
Mhm.
option to there's an easy apply option on LinkedIn also on some posts,
Mhm.
job posts, right? Easy
Some of
apply,
the
some
on some
posts,
of the
some of the
hirings,
posts,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I turn on the alerts. When I get the notification, I click on that, and I just click on the easy apply button. It just takes 1 second. I am on the top applicants of the job. So this is how I apply for the job,
Okay.
and I am getting good responses for that also.
Just to add on something to here, so of course you can do that, and that can be done over Naukri also. So what makes
Yeah.
LinkedIn specifically good for our us engineers is that you can connect to people. So suppose I'm just giving an example. I'm looking for a job at Amazon. Okay, what I can do is when I see the job description, I can see the company, I can click on that company's name. I can click on that and I'll go to that company's. Can I share my screen? That would be better if I can show it.
Sure.
Let me share the screen and show it to you. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
I can see Spotify.
Okay. Now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here is my LinkedIn profile. Okay. So suppose I'm looking for a job. Let me go to jobs. Okay. So let's consider this one. This is at Barclays, Cloud Virtualization and Specialist. So now when I have to apply, I can
Mm-hmm.
of course apply after clicking here. But before that, what I would like to do is I can see the job description here. I can read through it. If I am a good match for this, what I can do is I can click on the company's icon. So it will redirect me to the company's profile. Okay. So once you are onto company's profile, you can go to this profile, this option known as people. Once you're here,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to tell you how many people from which colleges and all. So suppose like I'm from BITS Pilani. Okay, I look for my
Okay.
college's name here. Okay, I don't see my college's name over here. Okay, and or I can
Okay.
look for the city. So now I am from India, I can click on India. So now it's going to show me all the people who are from India working with Barclays. Now see, her designation is recruiting partner, director recruiter at Barclays, recruiting partner at Barclays. I'm going to send a connection request to all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
if I send 5 connection requests, at least, okay, ideally all of them should accept, but at least 5 of them will be able to accept. Along with that, this LinkedIn algorithm is very intelligent. As they know that I am a DevOps engineer, I am into cloud, they're showing me such options only. So this guy, so sending a request to this DevOps engineer, also to this DevOps engineer. Now, as soon as one of these people accepts my connection, I'm gonna send a message to them. Okay, so suppose this guy Ashutosh accepts my message, accepts my request. I'm going to send out a message to them, and I'm going to ask them that there is a requirement like this, are they aware, and if they can refer me. And believe me or not, there are some organizations, I don't mind even naming them, who really prefer having the referral candidates on top of direct candidates, because they know these people are going to work together. They need to act as a team, and if they know each other before, it's great. So Siemens does that. If you want to get into Siemens, it's really great if you have a referral there. They give high importance to referrals. So many other
Licious does that also. Licious also.
to some extent, yes, because I know HR. I know my he sits next to me. He's my friend. I can just walk up to him. Okay, this is the profile I've sent. Can you check it? Once you have checked, I can ask him. I can like force him, or somehow I can impact him to schedule an interview for you. Once interview is scheduled, then it's between you and the company. Then I am nobody. But till then, I can play some role. I can do something.
Yeah.
And if you see on LinkedIn, people really help. There are I have seen it. Many people have helped me. Even people in companies like Amazon and Google also helps.
Yeah, I think this is a very good feature of LinkedIn, for the people who looks for job on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yeah, we apply for the job on LinkedIn, but the next step is how much are the chances we'll get shortlisted, right? So I think it varies on many aspects. So can you just give me some examples, like how we can increase our chances to get shortlisted?
So I think three things that makes a huge difference when how soon you can get shortlisted for how many opportunities. The first will be keywords. The second will be uniqueness of your resume, and the third will be the language of your resume. I'm gonna tell you each one of them in sequence. So when I say keywords, so what do you do? If you are an Android developer, what kind of tools do you use?
So language wise, I use Java and Kotlin, and there's some dependency injection tools like Dagger, reactive programming I use. Yeah,
Mhm.
Android Studio I use the IntelliJ idea. So yeah.
So when suppose I'm an HR and I'm looking for people for the Android developer position, either one or two, doesn't matter. So I'm going to look for the keywords Android Studio, the name of the tools that you have said. I'm going to look for Java or Kotlin. And if in your profile you have mentioned Android Studio 4, 5, 6 times, if you have mentioned Kotlin 2, 3 times, your resume is going to come on top. Okay, and HR will
Yes.
forcefully, they will have to look at it. Okay, why this person have mentioned this specific keyword so many times, they will have to. That's the first step. You have to get through the first shortlist. Once you're done with that, then the second step is, once they have opened your profile, once they have opened your resume, then they should be allowed, or they should be given an opportunity to take your resume ahead. So how do you do that? You need to keep your resume very unique. You should not copy anything. In your tagline, you should not mention that I want to work for a great company and work for the society at large. That's too common. You'll find it on every graduate's resume. And if you're still using that same tagline, you need to improve that. You need to tell what exactly you want to do. You are an Android developer. What kind of application you want to work on? What kind of tools you want to explore? Write that into your description, into your tagline. That's the second thing. Uniqueness. Write your own thing. Third is the specific keywords which attack the psyche of HR, which have the psychological impact. Yesterday I was talking to one of my friend who is into psychology. He have done ME psychology. So he said, when somebody reads your resume, if you write that I can do this and this, instead, there is a phrase, your action speaks louder than your words. You should define the actions in your resume, what you have done, what you have worked. this worked keyword, that makes a huge difference. So you need to, I can't tell you which are the specific words for your profile. You need to look for those specific words. You need to analyze your resume, that how it will look attractive to an HR. How, so they are not going to read it line by line. They're going to skim and scan. So those skimming, scanning words should be impactful. These three things. You need to put keywords, you need to make it unique, and you need to write very good content. You need to sell your resume by writing good content.
Yeah. So these are the pretty good insights. Like it starts from our resume title also, right? Like some people send resume.pdf, resume dot anything like that, right? So we
Yeah,
can focus on that thing also. Like when I apply for a job, what is my title is Lavish underscore Android underscore resume.
yeah,
So it is specifying that I am looking for an Android developer job and my name is Lavish. So it is very easy
exactly,
for HR also to get some insights of that, right? Yeah.
exactly,
So
exactly.
and many people ask this question like what should be the resume length, like 2 pages, 1 pages, 3 pages? What do you think? What is the exact, what needs to be the resume size?
I don't think so. There is a specific size for a resume. What you need to do is, you need to keep on cutting the work you have done a year or 2 year or 5 years ago, and keep on adding what you have done in last 6 months. So suppose I have 5 years of experience. I have worked
Okay.
in close to 4 different projects. 4 years at Wipro, 8 months at least at Scoop, and 2 months at Licious now. I have cut down my Wipro work experience to only 7 or 8 lines, my Scoop experience to some 12 or 15 lines, and my Licious, what is latest, is also 12 to 15 lines. Now, as soon as I'm going to add a new column on top of that, once I leave Licious, or if I keep on adding inside the Licious, I will have to start reducing what I have done 3 4 years back, because that is not relevant in industry anymore. A research from Oxford says that one third of the IT jobs are replaced every 5 years. So what I did 5 years ago is not relevant anymore. I know that people are not. So if somebody is hiring me, they are not hiring me what I have done 5 years back. They are hiring me what I have done in last 6 months. So I don't think so. There's a specific size limit to your resume. What you need to focus on to is how well you are representing your last 6 months and not your last 6 years.
Yeah. And one very good thing you told about before that also, like we need to focus on our skills also. Like I've seen many resumes, like they write on the resume, I'm good in problem solving, I'm good in communication, I can talk to clients, but they don't mention on their skills. Like either they mention at the bottom, either they don't mention.
See,
So
what
like we need
happens
to
is,
focus on the skills, right?
again, what happens is, when you use such kind of vocabulary into your resume, I'm confident, I'm into problem solving, that doesn't impact the psyche of the HR. You need to tell how you solved a problem, and by reading that statement, your HR will be able to figure out that, yeah, you are good with problem solving. You need to depict that how many people have you led, what you have done in your project, how much ownership you have taken, and that will define your confidence. So action speaks louder than words. You need to write what you have done, your actions, instead of writing, okay, I have this.
I think we can say like your resume needs to be the trailer of your movie. So if
Exactly.
person is interested in your trailer, then he will go
Watch
for
your
a movie,
movie.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I think we have covered much on like how to apply for and how to get shortlisted. So next thing we can move on. So we have a
One
situation. So
one more
yeah,
one more thing I would like to add here,
yeah. Go ahead.
is
Go ahead.
that either you're on Naukri or LinkedIn, doesn't matter. Keep on updating your profile, changing something or else. So I got to know from some of the HRs that when they look for the profiles, when they shortlist people, they see the latest updated profile. If your last updation was 6 months back, there are less chances that they're gonna select you for next round. So keep on updating and keep on changing something or else, so that your profile is updated every time, a week or more, not more than 2 weeks ago, so that HR can focus on to your profile, and they really think that you're really putting efforts into it and you really want a job.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, aligned, completely aligned. So my next question is, I have a interview next day, right? So I'm not prepared for that. So many people think I'm not prepared for that, and it will be a time waste, right? Many people think that I'll not give the interview. Can like I many interviews will come, I'll not give the interview. So what do you think about this?
I think that's entirely a wrong take to it. You should never skip an interview. You should never keep your interview standing, because this is a revolving industry. Some or other day you'll face meet that person, and it's going to be embarrassing then. That's one thing. And
Yeah,
the other aspect is, it doesn't matter if you get an offer letter or not, if you get selected for the next round or not. Interview is going to teach you something or else. It's going to teach you what you should be focusing on. It's going to teach you what is the current trend of your industry. It's going to teach you what kind of questions interviewers are asking, and what are the expectations of companies. So if you're looking, if your interview is scheduled with something like Amazon, you will get to know what Amazon is looking for. And probably if you get another chance after 6 months, now you already know about the pattern of the questions and the pattern of interview, and you can get through it. So I think you should never skip an
so
interview. If you get a chance, you must sit for an interview.
so have you faced the situation? So before one day you get some thinking like
Oh my
I'm not
goodness.
prepared.
So when I'm never prepared, I am never prepared, because I work into an industry where every day something or else is coming up new. Everybody is making some new revolutions into the industry. Each and every organization is working on different set of tools and different set of terminologies they are using. I'm never prepared, but what I know is that I'm confident that what I know is what I know, and if they like my understanding of technology, they're gonna teach me what they want me to do. I hope. I think I
You
made it a
know,
little
I
confusing, huh?
I read one post on LinkedIn also.
Yeah.
So there was a guy right now he's working on Amazon in Amazon.
Hmm.
So he was jobless at that time. So he came from Bangalore to his hometown. So he shared like he called got got a call from Amazon and interviews 2 days after the we have an interview after 2 days. So
Hmm.
he was thinking I have to go or not, like you have to book a flight book a flight also, right? So
Hmm.
if it will not be worth, I'll lose my money, right? So but after thinking some time, he went for the interview, and right now he's working at Amazon.
I'll tell you an interesting story, okay? So I had an interview scheduled for Deloitte at Deloitte Gurgaon. It
Okay.
was around 10:30 in the morning. I woke up around 9 o'clock. It was a fine winter morning on a Saturday. And I had a food blog event that day. I had to go eat and give reviews. I was very much confused. Like at that point of time, I thought that I have recently switched, and I'm not gonna go to Deloitte, and probably I should not go for this interview, and I should have my food and enjoy. But
Yeah.
that day morning, I thought maybe I'll get an experience, and I'll get to know how Deloitte thinks and all. And I went for the interview, and you won't believe, the very same day 2 rounds were cleared. Both the technical rounds were done. I had only the management round pending, and I had got an offer letter from them that helped me to get more money into my current job. So yeah, you never know, how well the interviewer from the other side is gonna be, how good questions they are gonna ask you, and how understanding they will be. You know, so always go for an interview. Never skip an interview.
Okay, so the same situation. So I have interview tomorrow. So I'm completely prepared for that. I think I'm completely good with my basics. I'm prepared for that. But I'm giving it after a very long time. I have not given any interview from the past time. So uh, I'm very nervous. I'm not that confident. So what suggestion you give, like how to get that confidence? Yeah, right. You understand my question.
I understand your question. Okay. So, Lavish, I think over here, as I have said earlier, also, it doesn't matter if you're Queen of the England or the President of the United States, you will be having anxiety attack. You will have some, confidence issues when you're going to talk to a complete stranger, and that might change your career. Actually, suppose you are sitting for an interview with Google. So if you get selected, it's
Mhm.
going to change your life entirely. That's going to be
Yeah.
there. So now what you need to do is you have to look for the ways how you can reduce the anxiety. You cannot kill it, but you have to reduce that anxiety. I'm talking to you on a Zoom call. I know you since last 2 years. Still, I am a little conscious about how this is going to go on internet and all. But what I have done to overcome this is, the first thing is that stand in front of a mirror and practice your answers. Always. See, some of the questions you already have answers into your mind, and you know these questions are going to be thrown at you by any interviewer. Practice your introduction. Practice the questions like what are your aspirations. Practice the questions what do you want to do. Practice the questions on the key technologies that you think are key technologies for your profile. So like I am into cloud, so I am an AWS specialist. I know there is going to be a question onto Lambda. I know there is going to be question onto EC2 or S3. I prepare for those questions. I stand in front of the mirror and look at myself, how I am doing, what are my reactions, and what interviewer will be seeing. That's the first thing that you can do. Second, if you have a good friend, okay, I'm saying if you have a good friend, you can do a mock interview also. Otherwise, otherwise he or she is gonna mock you.
I have people around me. I don't have any good friends. I have just people around me.
So you can do a mock interview, but don't get mocked by them. So if you have a good friend, do a mock interview. These two things, I think, they will help people. And if you don't want to do any one of these, then there is meditation for you always,
Yeah, yeah.
to boost
Okay.
your
I
confidence.
think we have covered much on the second part also. So I think we can go. I'm sitting in front of interview. What should I do? Right. Okay. So my first question is in that regard is I'm in front of my interviewer. My interviewer is not interested for the interview. Is not looking at all.
Hmm.
He's not
Hmm.
looking interested. So
Hmm.
what I can do in that situation? Like how can I get his attention?
Okay, look, with this COVID-19 pandemic, the worst thing that has happened is that when we sit for interview, usually people do not turn on the camera, so you will never get to know if the other person is interested into what you are speaking or not. But if they do turn on the camera and you think that other person is disturbed or is not focusing on what answer you are giving, or he doesn't look interested into you and he is doing some other things, you can always drag the attention by asking a question that if you are going on the right track. Because see, we are engineers, there can be 10 paths to reach the same destination. There can be so many solutions, and one reason that they are not, he or she is not focusing on to you, your answer is that they think you are wrong. They think that this
Hmm.
solution might not be right. So you should always ask. It's very good strategy. Stand by your interviewer for yourself. Ask him or her what he or she is exactly looking for as a solution. What are the services that they're looking for? What tools and techniques they think it should be using? And then you can, mold your answer and use those technologies. And if you don't have exposure to those technologies, you can always tell your interviewer, okay, I'm not good with that, but this is what I think would be the best solution as per my current stack or knowledge of stack and all. That's the first thing. You should always ask questions if you're going into the right direction or not. Okay. The
Hmm.
second thing would be establish a relationship with your interviewer. Before he or she starts asking questions, you will have a minute or two or even 30 seconds where you can establish a connection. Ask your interview. So when they ask you how are you, don't say I'm fine. Say I'm good. How are you? How are you doing? Where are you? Ask a couple of questions. Ask them how they are doing in COVID-19. That's a good talk, good small talk, And by then you will have a connection with them. They will ask you questions and expect to get back some humor also. You can always give a very big smile to them, and always add some references which will make them laugh. So these two things: first is ask if you're going on the right path. Second, establish a relationship with your interviewer. If you have 30 seconds, I'll tell you a good story. A couple of days back, I was interviewing for a company. The very first round, I was interviewed by five panel of five engineers, and
Oh my God.
yeah, and two of them had joined earlier. Three were like 2-3 minutes late. And in those 2-3 minutes, I had established a good relation, a professional relation with those two people. I did not go join that company, okay, but still, though those people are connected with me on LinkedIn. We talk, we discuss things, we discuss the technology, and we discuss life also. They are from US, so here and there, every couple of days, I message them how are they doing, because they are in New York, so I keep on asking if they are well and all, and they ask the same. As well as we discuss the technology, what are the recent tools into the industry, what I am using, what they are using. They also helped me on many occasions where I had some confusions between using one of those two tools. So always establish a relationship.
And sometimes we know also, right? So like who is going to take our interview one day before when HR sends the interview letter, right? So we can go to LinkedIn and say,
That's best thing.
check his profile also, right? This is a very
That's
good
gonna
feature of LinkedIn.
that's gonna give you 5 marks extra, because they will think that you have done your research.
Yeah, yeah, I've
That's
done
gonna
my
give you five
homework.
marks for that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So my next question is, so we are talking about freshers, we are talking about experienced professionals, right? So first we'll talk about freshers. So for a fresher, what type of company is good? Either he needs to go to a startup or an MNC or a product-based company. What do you think?
Okay. First thing is that if you are getting a job, it's good enough if you're in India. Okay. And if you have some really good skills, and if you have an option, then it depends what are your career aspirations. If you want to lead a New Yorker style life, you want to work on 5 days and relax on other 2 days, enjoy the life to a full, enjoy the nightlife of the city you're going to be in, go for the product based company. Never miss that. They're going to pay you a lot, and you will have to work very less in comparison to what they're paying you. Okay. Then comes, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur like you, or if you want to grow into the technology, if you want to do research later on or something like that, I would suggest go for a startup. Now, then comes your mass recruiters, your MNCs like Wipro, Infosys, TCS, and other such companies. Those companies are good
Specifically,
for some.
what do you think about Wipro? What do you think about Wipro? I
I
have very, very
think
negative points about that.
I think Wipro is the best organization on the planet of Earth.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
really, Wipro inherited lots of value and integrity from Mr. Ajim Premji, and how he have built it from the scratch with lots of integrity. That makes Wipro unique. There's nobody, believe me, I have friends into each and every MNC today. I have friends across the globe. There's nobody as good as Wipro when it comes to ethics, when it comes to integrity, when it comes to your personal values and what you can do. See, today you are an Android developer. If you are in Wipro and you decide that you want to quit Android development and you want to be a front end developer, or you do want to do anything into the help, you will be given that opportunity at Wipro.
Yeah,
You will
this
get
is
the
right. Like,
time and
you know,
training.
you know,
Yeah.
I started Wipro as a support guy. For 3 months, I was doing just copy paste on Excel, nothing else. So
Mhm.
I saw like this is not going good. So
Yeah.
I switched to a different account, different project, different client. So
Yeah.
from past 1.5 years, so I'm working as an Android developer. So this is a good point
Same for
for a
me.
company like MNC.
When I started working in Wipro after a couple of months of training, I joined a project into storage. Okay, it was the first flash product by EMC. EMC Scale, then Dell EMC now. If I would have continued there, my life would have been hell now, because nobody is hiring storage engineers or storage administrators. There's very less demand and very high supply. People are not getting jobs and money either. So I got an opportunity, and it's not that I was aware about the world of IT, so that I switched. It was one of my DM, one of my manager, who saw the potential in me, and he said that you should not work here. Study something, and I'll get you a project in 15 days. And that's when I started doing my research. What should I study? And I chose AWS. with some after doing some research, and I started studying that, I had a very vague idea of what AWS is. I did not even understand what is cloud properly, and I got a project. So that's why I say Wipro is one of the greatest organizations on the planet Earth. Despite this only one problem, that they pay less. Otherwise, I would have never left the Wipro.
Okay,
Yeah.
one bad point I got.
Yeah.
Okay, so so if I have 10 years of experience. So what do you suggest? What type of company I should look
If you have 10 years of experience, I hope you are not looking for adventure. So do not
for?
join a startup. Okay. If you're into startup, there is always lots of work that you have to do. Of course, there's lots of learning, but lots of work that you have to do, as well as the job security is a concern into the startups. So if you have 10 years of experience, as per the Indian standards, you are married by then, and probably you have one child also. So I think if you have 10 years of experience, if you have got good hikes in the initial journey of your IT experience, go for a mid-aged company like Wipro, TCS, Infosys. You will get good salary and a very good environment culture. People will respect you. If you have not got a very good hike in the beginning of your career, and you're looking for money also, money as well as career opportunity, then you should go for big giants like Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, and many others into the industry who are lined up after them.
Yeah. By the way, you told many big names like Amazon and Google, but many people think that it's very difficult to go into these companies. What do you think? Like how much difficult it is? I think if
No.
you're good with the basics, have done some good projects in the past, you can easily go for it, right?
6 months of hard work, as I've told you, see what you have done 5 years ago, 3 years ago, nobody's asking that. If you do not upgrade yourself for 6 months, you are useless in this industry. So I think to get into Amazon or Google, all you have to do is work hard for 6 months, and you will be there, believe me.
Okay.
Even
So this
any
is one
any
of my favorite.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna ask you my favorite question.
Hmm.
So the question is how your degree helps in your job, your career, whatever you do in your job, right? So how you learn from your degree, either it's education, your teachers, or your friends, or an environment. Yeah, tell me.
Look, college is one of the most important part of your life. It's gonna give you great memories and a great platform to explore yourself, to explore the different aspects of your personality, um, diversity into yourself, dynamics of your personality, and who you really are. What do you really want to do in your life? You're gonna explore that, as well as it's gonna make you from an innocent child to a brutal man or woman, ready for the industry, ready for the world, to make your count into it. Either be you want to be an entrepreneur or a businessman or a job applicant or anything, you want to be actor or a photographer or anything. This is a platform, this is something that will give wings to you so that you can fly. I think it's my point of view that college is one of the most important and most amazing time of anybody's life. It gave you great friends, great relationships, and some amazing memories that are gonna be there for you for your entire life. And you are gonna build on top of the foundation that you have built in your college of your personality. Uh, how people from
So
Oxford, or from Stanford are different from people like you and me who have done our graduates from CGC or Thapar or something like that. That platform is broad enough at Oxford and Stanford that gives them wings of much larger size than you and me have got. So that is what my take on this question is, that never skip your college.
mm, so education system also plays an important role in this, right?
I think we Indians, we need to reevaluate what is education. Okay, so I think that's my point of view, that education must be secondary into your college. As we have done BTech, we get one mandatory subject of interpersonal skills into every semester. So usually our professors and we ourselves also do not focus on to that specific subject. Did you? Did you focus on that
Yeah.
one subject? When you were in college, you always get, so if you're in CS, you get three subjects of CS, one of either electronics or electrical, and one personality development or interpersonal. Did you focus on that interpersonal skills subject a lot or not? How much was your focus on that one subject in
Uh,
comparison to your technological subjects?
yeah. So not my subjects like I had subjects in my college during my semester, right? Not that, but I was very interested in Android. So my one of my friend told me, why are not doing web? It's having better scope. Why are you doing Android? But I was more
Mhm.
interested in that also. I believe that mobile development is also having a good scope. But and also like I was not more interested in job. I was more interested in entrepreneurship. That's why I started
No, I'm
freelancing also in my during my
I'm
college.
asking you a different question. I'm
Huh?
asking you, like in college, you'll in every semester there will be five subjects. Three will be computer science, one will be either electric or electronics, and there will be one subject for your personal development, your interpersonal skills, for your soft skills. How well did you
Yeah.
focus on that one subject in comparison to all four others? I'm asking you that question.
Never.
So
Never. And
that is
I
something.
never went to my class also.
That is
I
something I
never went to
think
my class also.
that is the mistake that we
Yeah.
all have made in our colleges, and our education system is also like that. I think that one subject should be given more importance than all those three or four technical subjects that you have in your college, because that adds a character to your life, man. If you're studying in your college, like how to handle a meeting, how to interact with people, what are the communication skills, what should be your body language, how you should present something, if you should be making hand movements or not, that I'm doing currently, when it is effective, when it is not. I think that makes you human, that makes you different from AI. See what you do today, you do Android development. I can get some 5 to 6 developers, very good developers, and I can build some really interesting ML and AI bots who can replace you. Okay, your technical skills, but they cannot replace your wisdom, they cannot replace your confidence, they cannot replace your dynamism, and they cannot replace your creative thinking as a human. That's what we need, and that's what we should have in college. I do not blame college for it, I blame the professors and students for not focusing on what they should really be focusing on.
Okay. So you think we have 4 year degree and how the system is going on? This is good.
This is pretty good. There are some minor changes required here and there that would make it a little better. People, there should be more interactions. Everybody should participate into such interactions. There should be more visits by different leaders into the colleges where students can interact with them, ask questions. There should be more workshops regarding your personality. There should be more focus on developing you than your technical skills. Your organization is going to do that job in 4 months, develop your technical skills, but that 4 years
Mhm.
is for you to develop as an from that innocent child that you was in your school till 10th or 12th to a brutal man or woman that you will be when you end your college.
Right. Aligned. I think I'm getting many things from this. So we'll move on to next question. Okay.
Yeah.
So next question is yeah. So next question is I started my job as a support guy. So many people are so they start their job what they don't want to do. So I started my job as a support guy, but I don't want to be in support. I want to be a technical guy or a Java developer or any web developer. Okay. So what do you think some many people it's not for all, like they work for some MNC like Wipro and they get chance to do different projects, right? So they're working in a small company, small team, how they can deal in this situation, I don't want to do support thing, I don't want to be a developer.
Okay. if you have it inside you, if you think
Hmm.
that you can work hard, if you think that
Mhm.
you can change what you're doing, then there is always a way. I'll tell you a very interesting example. Can I share the screen?
Sure.
Okay, I've not taken his permission, but I don't think so he will mind. I'm gonna share you a living example, okay? Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Let's see. Not yet.
Now?
Yeah, Spotify again.
Okay. It will be now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there is a friend of mine. His name is Aditya Deshpande. Okay, he is a food blogger also. So now he worked
Okay.
close to 3 to 4 years into IT. Okay, if you see
Mhm.
his profile here, he started. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, he started working in 2016. Okay, no, that was campus
Okay.
employee. He started working in 2017 actually, and for close to 3 years, he worked at technical solution consultant at HP. Okay, but what he
Yeah.
really wanted to do is that he wanted to do some marketing, he wanted to do some content writing, he wanted to be somewhere where he can explore his creative size, and he is very good at convincing others. He is very good at convincing other people to do specific set of things. He he was looking for this opportunity since very long. He had put lots of efforts. He had done many courses on Coursera, Udemy. He had explored that side of him, and now see he is working as an intern at marketing intern at Steering Minds. Okay, they gave him the platform, and you will find it too. All you need to do is you should be focusing on what you really want to do, and if you really have it inside you, if you really have the gut to make the change, to take the risk and do it, and you will be able to do it. This is one example. I know many people like this. I myself, I started working into storage, and today I'm a DevOps engineer. You yourself started working into support, and you are a developer now. I'll tell you one more example. Okay, a friend of mine, he is the DevOps engineer now. His name is Ankaj. He was my team lead at one point of time in Wipro. You know what he started from? He started from a computer center, and his pay was close to 700 rupees. And from that computer center,
Okay.
he went to some IMG job in Delhi, where they were living like 7 to 8 guys in one room, because their salary was still 1500 into that IMG job, and they were like working 17 to 18 hours at that company, and sleeping also there only because of the air conditioning thing. Can you hear me still? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And then he got an opportunity to work in some admin team, and from there he grew up, and he studied AWS, and he got a chance to work into the support team of cloud, and from there he went to admin, and from admin to team lead, and now he's working as a DevOps engineer. 8 years of his journey, and he have learned so much and grew up from that computer center guy in Delhi to a DevOps engineer at a reputed organization in Bangalore. That's one example. Another, a friend of mine, his name is Maninder. He did BA arts. Okay, that's a joke, BA arts, because arts is inside the BA. And today he's a software developer. There are people who have done
Okay.
BTech and are doing salesman job or something else that they don't want to do, but that guy who have done BA, and he is a software developer now. How? All because of his hard work. He did so much of hard work. He worked very hard in initial a couple of companies where he have got the platform, and then on he switched companies. He grew his technological side and did it. So what I think, if you really want to do something else, you need to have the gut in you, you need to have the commitment, and you need to focus. You need to focus a lot.
I'm focused. Okay. So yeah, it's like how much serious you are, and how much really you want that thing, right? Yeah.
I see
I
many
s- I
people.
also think like
I see many people who are,
yeah.
usually bragging about, oh my god, I don't want to do this. My manager is a bitch and all. And when they do it, like they don't focus on it, on improving themselves. When they're in front of their manager, they can't speak anything. Then who's gonna speak for you if you don't? So stop blaming others, stop procrastinating, and start building.
Yeah, I also think like uh, learning. If I want to learn a language, I don't know anything about programming, anything. I don't know. I'm a child. Okay, so it's like learning English, like learning any programming language. You just need to know the basic, the vocabulary is MR. You need to know that, and you're good to go with it. And you just need to build some projects after that. It I think it will take max 3 to 4 months to be good at that, right?
6 months max, 6 months.
Yeah,
Uh,
max 6 months. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's what you
Yeah.
need to know plain English. And there is in 21st century to 2020, there is so much online content that will help you.
I've seen one startup also. They are building a programming language in Hindi also. Like printf is like chapo.
Oh my god.
It was
That
very
would be
funny. It was
something
very funny.
interesting.
it,
See, believe
it was
me.
very funny. Like they are,
Mhm,
yeah, yeah,
mhm. Yeah,
yeah. Like
you
I think
complete.
they are building it for village people, like who are living in a village. They are building for that them.
Believe me, very soon all these tasks that developers are doing, I think in 5 to 10 years of span, AI will be doing it. Okay, there will be bots, there
Yeah,
will be machine learning, deep learning concepts that will be doing it for you. Then we'll be doing something for those bots. Yeah, that's always there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You need to keep growing. So I want to add something here. If you are a cloud engineer or a cloud developer and you want to see where the industry is heading in next 5 years, I would say that's quantum cloud. There is already one service on AWS which is serving some quantum cloud solutions. That's an artificial, they are depicting that it is quantum, it's not actually quantum cloud. So quantum cloud is getting your quantum computing onto the cloud. That's gonna make another revolution into the industry. That is gonna produce close to 20 million jobs into the industry. And if you're a cloud developer or a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer, you should be the first one into your industry, into your company, to try your hands on it. It's specifically for cloud developers.
Okay, so for cloud developers, it's a good thing, and who are looking for to switch in cloud, just check out our video. Okay, so
Yeah.
last question. So this is the last question. I think we have covered much things. So last question is it a good time to switch? So I think Corona is pandemic is going on, right? So many people are losing their job also, and many people are going, yeah, are looking for a switch also. So what do you think? It's a good time to switch or not?
I think for some people from a specific skill set and specific industry, it is perfect time to switch. But we need to have a very deep, very skill wise and department wise and industry wise conversation on this. We will have another session scheduled for this. But as of now, you can ping me one on one and tell your current situation of your industry and your skill set, and I may be able to guide you. But we are going to make another video where we will tell you who you are and what you should do. Either you should switch or not. But if you think that you should switch, then it's one of the perfect timings into the industry for you to grow.
Yeah, I think hiring is lesser than before, but still companies are hiring. But right now they are looking for better developers. Like before that, if they were hiring 4 developers, right now they are looking for 2 good developers, not like 4. Like they are just filling their they're filling their job. So they're looking for good developers who can do that job uh, in less budget also, right?
Again, it entirely depends, Lavish. I don't want to extend this session a lot, but just to add on to what you have just now said, it entirely depends upon the nature of the industry. Some of the industries are hiring more people. Organizations like Amazon and all, they're hiring more because they're not certain who will die and who will be alive. They have to have a backup. My manager, a couple of
Yeah.
weeks back, I asked him, why are you hiring so many people? We already have enough people to do the job. He said that you never know what's going to happen, and if you're going to die, company is not going to die with you. So a lot of organizations are over hiring now also. There are some organization into the industry, bad ones, they are looking for cheap resources these days. They know that people are out of the jobs and people will come in the lesser packages. So some organizations are looking for cheap resources, and some organizations are looking for quality resources, like you have said, which organizations which are facing cash crunch, they are looking for quality developers and hiring less number of people to do better job. So it entirely depends again. So I think in next session we'll go more deeper into the departments and the different industries, and we will discuss if it is right time for you to switch or not, and where you should be switching.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm done with my questions, man. So it was a very good session. Even I have learned many things from it. So I'm going to apply tomorrow. From tomorrow, I'm going to apply many things from it. So especially LinkedIn.
Mhm. Mhm.
So any message or anything you want to say to give us some more ideas in careers, interviews, anything?
Never skip an interview. Be true to yourself. That's one of the key takeaways from this session, I think. That be true to yourself. When your interviewer is asking what are your hobbies, don't say music if you don't like music. Okay, he may ask you which type of music, who are your favorite singers, how much do you listen, and all. So be true to yourself. Tell them what technologies you know. Tell them what stack you know. Tell them what you don't know. Okay, and if they are if he or she is a good interviewee, if they have good understanding of technology, and if they are from US, they will hire you.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are done with this. So it was a good session.
Yeah,
Okay.
wish you all luck, people. Do good in your interviews, and you can always connect to me or Lavish on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We are available on almost each and every platform, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And
yeah.
after this also, we are going to make some videos with some people who are working in some great companies like Amazon, who are
Yeah.
working as a developer at Amazon, who are working as a developer at Google. We are going to make videos on that also. So
From
stay
IBM, from
tuned.
Deloitte, from many
Yeah.
startups also. So stay tuned, Americanized Indians.
Bye.